Hey YouTube. Gears of War has been a game cherished amongst those of us who believe it's the cream of the crop in terms of style, skill, and shit talk. Ever since its emergence back in 2006, it's become a household name for Xbox users alongside Halo. But beyond being the brand that pretty much led the torch for the entire 360 lifecycle, Gears of War is known for being a difficult game. Hard to approach, hard to master, only those who endure and enjoy the punishing gameplay return and invigorate the franchise with each release. Today, I'd like to talk about something that's lately been a controversial subject: the one shot down. Now, before you blow up the comments telling me what a bad idea it is to bring back something that's been in the game from the start, give me an opportunity to present my case and why I think, while frustrating at times, the one shot down is more important now than it's ever been, and if returned to the game, would fully turn a title that was dead at launch around and get people talking again. First, let's look at the counterpoints to this, and a little reason why the one shot down was removed. To be fair, there isn't exactly a lot of information regarding the change and why it was made. Sure, you can scour the forums for some obscure "fuck one shot down" posts, but internet search engines reveal no definitive answer for why this tool was retired. Seriously, Google "why was the one shot down removed from Gears of War?" Nothing comes up, even using different words or search engines. Seems like someone had this radical idea internally, at least from what I can gather, and the idea was tossed around to remove it from the game. It's a stretch, and I know I'm reaching, but without any other evidence to contradict this claim, for now, I'm going to say this was something they talked about for a while, even back to Gears 4. I remember the rumor mill from years ago, around the time competitive 2.0 betas were going on, how they wanted to test it out and look at the data, but nothing ever happened. Granted, I stepped away from Gears 4 a little after that. The community was becoming toxic, players were 5-man lancering, like they were optic gaming, and 500 grand was on the line. It was just pathetic, and not what I expected from a game where pacing and decisions mattered. Now, I am aware there is a vocal community against one-shot downs, because it sucks when you enter a fight and feel like you didn't even have a chance. Understandable, nobody wants to commit time to something and have it not work out. But let's be real, that's life. An old Yiddish proverb says, "Man plans, God laughs." This is very true in the sense that we can have a game plan, but it doesn't mean anything. That's just us trying to be cool, act like we're going to pull everything off. It's all within our control, but it's not. If you get one shot down, guess what, buddy? You overextended. And it happens to the best of us. Not even Shroud can win every game. But I think it's time to let go of the limited to non-existent cons and speak on the pros of why this feature is crucial to the game being relevant for another generation. I mean, truthfully, anybody who doesn't want this in the game should, because you're taking a tool away from yourself. Tilt factor. You see this kind of option everywhere. In fighting games, it's sometimes called X Factor. In Dragon Ball FighterZ, it's referred to as Sparking Blast. Gears of War has a few options similar to this, some of which are toned down or gone completely. Certain features enable a player to pull off scenarios he should lose. For Gears, the two most important features in every stationary gunfight was the active reload and the one shot down. Let's say you're playing Gears of War 1 on Subway. Your whole team got bodied. It's a 1v3. If we apply Gears 5 rules, all these players have to do is look at you and shoot together to win. It's really that easy when it comes down to it. With OG rules, you can active your clip and go for broke. Maybe they're sticking together, so you lure them down the steps and around a corner, lefty back A one guy for a body, now it's 2v1, but you just took a 4-point shot and you're blood red. You react in time using the second in between Nasher shots to take your chance, and that one shot you managed to fire downs him. You're now in a 1v1 situation where the clutch outcome is more realistic. Without that active and one shot down, you're toast. because you know if you don't get the gib, you'll lose. If you misjudge the gib, you lose. No point in playing for shots because you know it's going to take 4 shots to down 2 people and really only take each of them 1 shot each together to take you out. I don't need to do the math for you. The pressure put on the solo player is so unfair, and this was never a thing in the past. You weren't a bullet sponge. You either pulled it off or you didn't. Sure, now it's predictable, but that's not a good thing. It means fights constantly play out the same. As Baird would say, it's, a little monotonous. Player engagement goes down. People sit behind a cover for the whole match, lancering because the other weapon in their inventory is so inconsistent and ineffective. You'd rather just be a rat and focus on wins and KD. Whatever it takes, regardless of enjoyment, or how it makes you or the players you go against feel. There is a reason players don't use game chat anymore. It's because this game isn't fun to play with people you don't know. And that has never been true for a Gears game. In the almost 14 years I've been playing anyway. There are just more benefits to having this option in the game. I can think of a couple off the top of my head that really should come back and have some consideration, figure out how you would implement it, like the weapon slide from Gears 1, for example. That's a really good idea to bring back. It just made sense that you could grab a weapon while sliding into cover. It prevented you from getting your head ripped off, but if you were a really good sniper, you could still get somebody in the weapon slide. I mean, there's just such a big benefit to having that back in the game, but trust me, there will be a different video for that at a further point. Gimmick One Shots. This transitions into my next point about the current meta. Gimmick One Shots. I've heard this term coined a few different ways, but I'm talking about when you get hit with a stray bullet, be it Lancer, pistol, hell, even a Nasher from 50 meters away. But then you get shot a second time, almost immediately afterwards, by another opponent with a Nasher. And if that opponent hits you with all of his pellets, you go down. What this has created is a forced meta where there are always people sitting back with a Lancer all game, covering their allies in every fight, but never being exposed to danger, and basically getting points for free with 0 risk, because they know their Nasher skill isn't that great, but they can track an opponent while their allies dance, and get eliminations now that kills are shared. While I do think the elimination system is positive for a lot of reasons, ultimately, I think it's created a mentality where you don't ever have to leave spawn to get points. I mean, you can rank up and earn a positive KD just by camping the spawn. Trust me, I hate when some loser kid walks up and steals my down, and it's great that I get the elimination as well. But wouldn't it be smarter to refine the system so that scoring is more intelligent and less generalized? You kind of put a band-aid on a wound that needs stitches. A good solution would be whoever does more damage or percentage in a fight gets that kill. The other player gets nothing, so there are no kill thieves. Just whoever took more risk or got the better shot earns their points. This would actually reduce the incentive to sit back and Lancer all game, because players would have to engage with others or stay stuck at their respective rank. No true bronze player should boost to Onyx by using Lancer only. He will be a detriment to his future allies who had to grind hard for their placement. Now, the unintentional good consequence to this change would mean while team fighting would happen, it would be up close. So players would be forced to compete for points. Less Lancer is always a great idea. Honestly, I'm still waiting for a map that's indoors, close quarters, and minimal sightlines. I think Exhibit is a great example of this. No matter how much I dislike Gears 5 sometimes, that map and Asylum always get me hyped to play. Just a lot of fun and interesting mechanics, switch up how people play the map. But yeah, let's get the Gimmick One Shot out of the game and see what happens when players realize they can no longer cheese. Teaching mechanic and culture. Yes, that's correct. The One Shot Down is an opportunity to learn. In every Gears game I've played, my friends and I would always hop into custom lobbies offline and test out weapons. We learned One Shot Down range, what shots did more damage, pellet spray angles depending on your wall bounce and the direction of your barrel and your screen. Basically just labbing data before we hopped into ranked execution. Part of the problem with this game isn't the game itself, it's the players. And it's one of those rare exceptions to the rules where you actually do hate the player instead of the game. Hiding behind walls, swinging your shotgun, pretending to want a 1v1 and then lancering the opponent down, bagging, emotes, the list goes on in terms of how degrading players are to each other. I've had my fair share of the worst, including being spawn trapped on Gears 4 during ranked escalation, with the enemy team refusing to cap hills and just lancering us down from spawn. We were down a teammate, no one grieved, and they randomly just did this to us. It's these kind of lame stunts that are taking the game down. And we need to be accountable for our bullshit. If you jump into a game fresh from campaign, expecting to body the lobby, you need to get your head checked. It won't happen. Getting good at a game takes time. You have to lose in order to win, otherwise victory doesn't taste that sweet. If you don't get constantly bodied and one shot down, you'll never improve your fundamentals and learn what you're doing wrong. Don't push here, reload there. Pay attention to where your team is. Don't be a hero. Be generous with weapons. Communicate, and maybe then you won't have to go on Reddit or the forums and complain how you paid $100 for a garbage game that you don't want to learn, you just want to succeed at. You don't get flowers without shit, so get your hands dirty and ask for advice. Quit killing a game because you don't understand the community and its established culture that's existed since the game came out. Learn how to properly shoddy battle. It's a melee, a slow reload, and a melee into a wall bounce. That's both of you acknowledging the fight is starting. Quit doing whatever it takes to win. Go for that risky play and see who comes out on top. It's just a game. Let's have some fun instead of acting like this shit is going to be on our resume in 20 years. With that, I don't have much else to add. Just thought it was important to put something out there reflecting an opinion that may be unpopular but has valid points, and if tested out, may improve the game and future meta drastically. I mean, honestly, bring the competitive betas back and do some of these riskier ideas that you have to mess with the formula into the game. Let us see what could happen with Gears of War if we got a little more ambitious and experimental. You know, I'm not saying let's start flying on the map, but, you know, maybe make the wall bounce distance a little further that I can pull from a long way away. Make the side bounce better. You know, there's so many things that you could try, and I think it's important to at least get it out there, have that idea, and maybe you do something with it. Who knows? But it gets the ball rolling. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. And a special shout out to GGZII. Kind of inspired me to make this video, and I haven't seen any video really talk about this, so I thought it was time to put something out there. So thank you so much. If you guys want to check out his channel, he does awesome Gears 5 analytics. I'm going to put a link down below. Anyway, with that, I'm out. I'll catch you next time.
I'm the captain, yeah. Can you force magic? Put him in a casket. Dead. Do my pose, flash it. My booty, I flash